Welcome to Season 2 of the Hobby Garden. Now, for those of you guys who have been following my channel in this series, welcome back. For those of you who have not, and this is the first time of you seeing this video, this series of videos, welcome to you as well. Now, as you guys can see, it is officially spring. The sun is directly in my eyes. I can barely see. And behind me, we have what is left of the garden from Season 1. Now, today I want to go over 5 things that you should be doing throughout the winter and obviously a little bit into the spring, which is right now. So we're still in March 21st, 22nd. So this video will be posted April 1st. So basically, I want to go over the 5 things that you guys should be doing during the winter, starting with figuring out your location for your garden. Now, that's number 1. As you can see, I already have my location. I do have my bathtub and some other areas where I also have some plants, rhubarb, raspberries, that type of thing. They're kind of just scattered throughout. Now, for someone who lives in, let's say, an apartment and it doesn't have access to a backyard, your location is going to be completely different from mine or anyone else who has access to a complete backyard or several acres. Now, location, whether it be in your kitchen as a kind of a herb garden or on your balcony, figure out what space you guys have to work with. That's number 1. Number 2 is the type of garden that you can actually have. Now, again, behind me, this is just your typical standard garden. Put it in the ground, use a rototiller, put your plants in, water it, the sun, everything gets taken care of basically, and it's well out in the open. So when it's raining, you don't have to worry about watering it. However, if you guys are doing something, let's say in a kitchen, you have to be very diligent with watering and making sure that the plants that you're growing are close enough to the windows so that they get enough sun. So there's lots of different things that you have to take into consideration with the style that you're going for. So again, this is just kind of like your basic garden. There are raised gardens. That's one style that you guys should keep in mind if you're doing it out in the open and you have, let's say, pets or a lot of wildlife around the area and you don't want them to be getting into it. So plan for the style, especially if you need to put fencing in or anything like that. Now, number 3, once you figured out your location, the style or the type, number 3 is going to be what are you going to be growing in your garden. Now, as the example I mentioned before, if it's in your kitchen, you can be growing herbs, right? Basically, whatever you cook with on a regular basis, you guys can have fresh herbs in your kitchen. You can put them on a table, windowsill, whatever. If you have your balcony, you have to make sure that you're growing something that is going to work with the location and style. So if you have something like pumpkins, right? Pumpkins are very easy for me to grow here. It's very, very easy. I have a lot of room to do that sort of thing. However, if you're living in an apartment and you only have a small balcony, pumpkins probably aren't the right thing for you to be growing. I'm not saying that you can't, but you're not going to have as much room as someone else with a larger area to work with. So the types of food, plants that you can grow, so whether it be fruits or vegetables, you are going to be limited somewhat based on those first 2 steps. However, what I do recommend is that you try to grow things that you eat on a regular basis. So tomatoes, cucumbers are perfect examples. If you're eating those on a regular basis, try to use those seeds to grow plants, something that you buy at the grocery store every day. You're going to be using that stuff. Try to focus on those main things that you love and start from there. Now, number 4 is going to be the seeds, of course. So when you're collecting, for example, a lot of stuff at the end of the season, you can kind of leave it in your garden and it will, you know, break down and turn into more soil, so it'll decompose. However, again, referring to the tomatoes and cucumbers, if you're buying seedless cucumbers, obviously you're not going to have seeds to grow from. However, tomatoes are a perfect example. You know, slice up your tomatoes, whether you're putting in your sandwich or whatever, save some of the seeds and dry those out. You can save those, you can collect those throughout the winter, even early in the spring. It doesn't really matter too much, just as long as you're using something that you actually want to grow. So don't go and collect seeds for, let's say, cherry tomatoes if you're not planning on eating cherry tomatoes. Go with something like a beefsteak tomato and actually grow what you're going to enjoy. So that is number 4. Now, number 5 is going to be the materials that you need. Now, once you've figured out your location, right? Number 1, the style of your garden. That's number 2. Number 3 is what you're going to grow. Number 4, you've collected your seeds. Number 5, regardless of where your garden is actually going to be located, you need to have planting soil generally. I also recommend using soil from your previous garden or where you're planning to plant your garden for the first time ever. Using that soil actually helps you figure out what seeds are more likely to thrive. So that's just a tip there for you guys. So soil. Number 2, hat. I definitely recommend a hat, especially if you're going to be outside for long periods of time. So definitely invest in some protection for yourself. Gloves are really important as well, especially, you know, if you want to keep your hands clean. You don't want to get, you know, dirt under your fingernails. You know, ladies, I'm sure you're probably going to deal with that more than guys would. Number 4 is going to be tools, like a spade. You know, something to kind of help you dig through the soil. And included in that, I would also say to keep popsicle sticks. That's another thing that comes in handy for marking the seeds in the plants, in the pots. And then number 5 are the pots, obviously. So anytime that you are starting something indoors, which you should be doing probably around now, which we actually are in the house already. So again, I have about a week at this moment of recording the video, 1 week before we're into April. And basically you buy little pods. You can do different things. I'm going to go over this stuff later in another video, but we have pods with seeds in them. We're going to start them now. They're going to grow all throughout April, and I'm going to show you guys that process as well. So you can do that, but I highly recommend, if you're doing this as a hobby, start collecting as many yogurt containers, Jello containers, ones that are a little bit deep, applesauce containers, whatever. And if you're on a budget and you're doing this as a hobby, which I usually am, I'm trying not to spend any money at all anytime I'm gardening, because I'm just utilizing what I have from previous years. If you're going to the grocery store and you're eating food, just use those containers and plant your seeds in those. It's the best way to do it. It's the most efficient, affordable way to do it. So hopefully you guys wrote all of this down, and if you didn't, make sure to save this video. So save it in a playlist or whatever, and make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave some comments down below. What do you guys want me to clarify, if there's anything that was, you know, I didn't elaborate too much on, because the coming videos are going to be about all those 5 things that I mentioned, and those are going to be spread out throughout the month of April. I might be doing 1 video a week, maybe 2, depending on timeline. And if you guys haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. It helps me know that you guys are engaged and want to see more content. And it also helps you with being notified when I post new videos. So this is season 2 of the Hobby Garden. This is the premiere, and we're going to have lots of fun this summer. And I hope you guys come with me on this journey as we garden together. I will see you guys in the next one.